Well, hello, beautiful Sagittarians. How about a reading about what you are healing? We've got a lot going up in the heavens with Jupiter and the wounded healer, your fellow centaur, spending time together in Aries. And then the moon's going to be going across here this month. So let's see what happens. We just had the first of 2 new moons in Aries, coming up on an eclipse. Lots of action out there. This reading is about the fact that Saturn, our practical how to get things done, has moved into Pisces, a dreamy place. And so we're going to ask about them. And then we've also seen Pluto move into Aquarius. So there's just a lot of big energy, an eclipse at the end of this month, solar eclipse. And let's see how this will contribute to your healing. All right, Sag, so the healing is in the 5 of Wands. This is about chaos, competition. It's a creative, anarchistic space. I love a 5 of Wands, except when it means we're all fighting and clashing. And that can definitely be a part of that energy. Since you're a fire sign, Sagittarius, this is your element. You may like battle. You may be like those centaurs riding out there bare-chested, half horse, half man. We shall see. Or woman, or non-binary person. Ooh, a few things here on the bottom, some big, powerful energies. So there is your emperor side, your leader, your alpha energy, and then a very different kind of leader, the leader of the heart, the King of Cups. He is much gentler. He is quiet about his feelings, but he's very attuned to them. You can kind of feel how he's just standing back. He's very reserved. It's a Scorpio energy, so we've got an Aries energy, so that kind of reaffirms that what's happening in Aries is important. And then the King of Cups is any water sign, so that this could be that move of Saturn into Pisces, feeling that we're getting. Also, it's typically read as Scorpio, but I think for today I get like a very Neptune, god of the sea, who's also in Pisces, and taking a long time being there happily at home in your feelings. Okay. If that all seemed like garbly-gook to you with all the astrology, don't worry. I'm going to read cards, and then I like to know what's happening out there to see how they come up in the cards. But let's see. Let's see. I don't know why I said that about garbly-gook. It was for somebody. All right, so we're going to be using this beautiful Moon Witch Tarot. Wanted to talk to you, Sag people. Let's see what the Moon Witch has to say to you. We'll split this deck, and we're going to ask 5 questions of this deck, and then we'll clarify. So the first question is, what element or what is the nature of this healing? We see it's in the Wands. What else do we see? It seems to be in the 5s. This is a passageway. We get 5 of Pentacles, 2 naked people left outside in the snow. So this is a feeling of abandonment, of lack, of poverty. Yeah, at least they're together, right? But you can see how they're together in their sorrow, but they're not actually comforting one another or warming one another. You know, like 2 warm bodies and can keep each other warm in the snow, but when we get into our self-pity, as a 5 of Pentacles is a kind of self-pity, we're invited to shift our perspective in 5s, or they're considered passageways. So this is look at other people that are in the same circumstances that you're in, that are also suffering, and to get out of yourself to comfort them can be really helpful. So this is a very earthy, practical energy, and it seems to me that this fiery conflict that maybe you're having somewhere else that's causing you to feel abandoned can be that this can be eased by getting out of your lack and into comforting of others. But let's see what else. What's the practical advice? This is what Saturn would have you do. Practical advice is really beautiful advice. A King of Swords. So lots of big king, emperor power here. The King of Swords holds the sword of truth, sits on the throne, and you can see not in an ostentatious or violent way. They're kind of holding themselves, and they're laying aside the truth as a tool of violence. So there's butterflies here, and there are doves of peace here. So although the King of Swords carries this weapon, the truth, the King of Swords uses the truth with love and has come through experience of using the truth in the long reign of the King of Swords to learn how to use it wisely. And this can be informed by theory, by intellect, by the realm of ideas. So this is also air. It's Aquarian energy, and we do have Pluto moving into Aquarius here, and we'll stay there for a spell into the fall, I think, and then leave, go back, and come back. So did I say, yeah, so Pluto has been in Capricorn, stirring up all of our structures. Now we want to ask some advice on the other Neptunian, Piscean, dreamy flow. So what is that kind of impractical energy? And you actually get a card that epitomizes that dreaminess, fantasy and illusion. Seven of Cups. It's about emotional choices, and looking at all these cups, you can see what different boogeymen and victory and a castle. There's good things and mysterious things. This looks like a little lobster under a dragon, the dove of peace. Yeah, there's some gems. There's a snake here. So when you're looking at all of your choices, as the Seven of Cups does, you're trying to discern what is the best emotional choice for me. And we'll clarify this, but what I'm feeling is that there's a kind of moving from a fiery tendency to jump into battle, which would come from this Aries side, the fire in you that you share with your fellow fire sign Aries, and moving into the slower, more emotionally thoughtful place of the King of Cups and the King of Swords. And this has to do with that you need to sort through some of the illusions and projections and enchantments that can interfere with your ability to perceive clearly. And so you need to pause and take time. It's almost like what I'm feeling here, because there's two fives, a Five of Wands and a Five of Pentacles. There's definitely something about you're taking this on with the wrong perspective. Like it's like a hanged man kind of energy. A shift from how you've been doing things to like taking the moment to become wise with the King of Swords to your heart, so that you can discern between what's real and what is not real, what matters, what doesn't matter. Now we want to ask what's hidden that the tarot wants you to know. There is your Five of Wands. Interesting. It's like you don't even know you're in conflict. It's almost like this is, maybe it's a conflict happening outside of you, or it's an internal one that you're not conscious of. That's really interesting. So that's the same card here, right? Just to be clear. When I watch readers, I don't always see what the card is, or and I always want to look at the card a little bit. So here we see these five people battling it out. Each wand represents the willpower, and everybody is sure that their way is the best way. And so you can find yourself here, Sagittarius. This gives you a different sense of that same problem. So this is what you're healing, and this is actually hidden from you. I want to say that you might be feeling like this, impoverished. But what you might consider that it's not about lack security. It's more about stubbornness and willpower. But we'll clarify. Okay, how you will embody this healing in the future. Oh, beautiful. So this is the soulmate connection of the Four of Wands. You can see the fight is over. Actually, this numerically it comes before, but this is you with the person, your soulmate person. It could be a friend, it could be many people, it's your party place. It's a place where you get to be yourself. It's much about these two here realizing that they can hold each other and keep each other warm instead of be out in the cold alone. So that is a really beautiful way of seeing a healing journey. Wow, what's going on beneath here? There is justice. Absolutely finding balance. There's the sword of truth that the King of Swords has. There are the two of Cups. A much different posture we can see here. Much more open body. These cards are very much like the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, but they really add something through these faceless, naked figures for me. One thing I said, you might see the Hanged Man here. This card is next, but it has not yet come in. So what that means when I'm reading cards is I stop there. But when I see this, I also might think that's not yet here, that's ahead. The moment of pause where your perspective shifts. It's not currently your dilemma. Your dilemma at the moment is about noticing that you're not alone in this. And that this idea, I think, that you're alone is an illusion, is something that you're going to get to look at ahead here, this kind of Seven of Cups thing. So examine your fantasies, the stories that you're telling about what's happening with you. There's something about how this practical advice of be wise, use your heart, this will transform the truth here, that this is this practical advice. This is how we get this done. That's what the Saturn energy is. Whereas this is kind of like just hang out here and float along on your inner tube kind of advice. So that the action is that action of the King of Swords. Okay, well, let's clarify. This deck, which is not a simple deck, so I don't normally use it to clarify, is the Muse Tarot. But I wanted to talk to you, wanted to clarify. So let's see what it says. So first we're going to clarify the nature of this healing. It appears to be this Five of Pentacles, feeling of poverty, being alone, being cold, feeling abandonment, a lot of self-pity here. And this is what you're healing. Okay. There is a Three of Voices. This is the conflict between the heart and the mind. This is kind of, for me, this is the opposite of the King of Swords. So this is a part of what you're healing, is this conflict between what your heart knows and what your mind thinks. And what will happen in the Three of Swords, it's a heartbreak energy. But more broadly, what happens is if the mind keeps obsessing, it hurts you. And so if you can't mentally release something, then it hurts your heart. I think of that feeling of heartbreak, like can literally feel like being stabbed. Then a very different energy is this Knight of Emotions, going forward with your heart, open-heartedness. It can also be that there's love coming in and you're not seeing it, right? So if we have a broken heart and a Knight of Cups, the classy love offer shows up, we're not in a position to receive that, right? On the table, it actually looks like this, with this Knight coming towards you with your broken heart, and you're not able to see this. That's okay. I mean, it's your timing. You're grieving. So But when I looked at these two people here, they need to hold each other through this hard time, and they're not, because they're very self-involved. And that's what obsessions of the mind and feelings of victimhood can cause us to do. And there is wish fulfillment on the other side of this, a Nine of Cups. It's actually the ability to individually find everything that you need here. Which is interesting, because I kind of have this impulse to have these two people hold each other through this storm and show up for one another. Perhaps it's your idea that you should do this alone that is a part of what you need to heal. Like, it's really key to let other people be there for us. So that's what I think. This is what you're healing. You have a broken heart. You're unable to receive help because your ideal of wish fulfillment and Nine of Emotions is that you do it all by yourself. So the practical advice is the King of Swords. Let's clarify this. What do you just actually go ahead and do? Sounds like you don't tell hard truths, right? You reserve the truth in some way. The King of Swords is very compassionate. So let's see. There's the Empress. The very opposite of the Five of Pentacles is abundance. It's absolute flourishing earth energy. You can make the whole universe here, right? So knowing that, you have the power of creativity, of abundance, the sun shining out of her heart or at her solar plexus, depending on where you would put it. But this whole universe is being birthed from her, not even just planet Earth, but she represents the abundance of the universe in this deck. So when I look here, I see Saturn here, right? This is Saturn. It's funny because when I always think of Saturn, I think of the rings, and so like the way the planet looks, and then our astrological understanding of Saturn, they can feel like this is the first time where I just really thought about them together. And because you're mutable, there is always that duality in you. Gemini is the most stereotypically dual, but Sagittarius, you're half horse and half human as a centaur, and so that being both at once thing. So if we have that, you have this Emperor side here at the top, as well as the King of Cups side. This could be two sides of yourself that we see in conflict and not supporting one another. So it doesn't have to be you and another person outside of you. It has to do with the part of you that knows and takes action, and the part of you that feels and is a little bit disconnected, perhaps, from the actor in you. So then Saturn having this dual quality is coming into my mind, like this beautiful planet with its rings out there. It's just such a graceful, elegant planet. I was reading, there's somebody who has written a book called Decolonial Astrology, or Decolonizing Astrology, and her last name is Kitty Cat. I can't think of her first name. Anyway, I just came across her looking around, reading, and so I'm caused to think about how something she said is that Saturn, this beautiful ideal, has been taken in by a civilizing process that we could see as colonial. It's getting a little heady out there, but it makes me think of that, like, how do we see things? And there's definitely something in the collective happening where we're reevaluating things like wish fulfillment. What is wish fulfillment? What is the sun, this ideal? Who are we? We're really like wondering about this. And that's been a part of Chiron in Aries in general. I know in my natal chart, Chiron is in Aries. So this has been for me like a lifelong process. Part of my queer story is is that Chiron, wounded healer, in the very sense of who I am and my embodiment, my relationship with my body. So you're having something like this happening, Sagittarius, and so it tells you right away, like, know something. The wisdom of the King of Swords is in the Empress, and this absolute abundance and generosity and this warmth and nurturing capacity. There's also a message here with the beautiful Slowpoke Knight of Pentacles. This is about taking it step by step and having a plan and doing it right. And the King of Swords, absolutely, because they have learned that the truth can hurt. They have learned to be gentle and to do it right. And that's Knight of Materials or Knight of Pentacles, absolutely. And more to enforce that further, strength. Strength is this lovely Empress type, feminine, nurturing, loving energy that you've tamed your inner beast. It's also beautifully a kind of hybrid image of, like, very much like a centaur, the wounded healer, and you as Sagittarius, also a centaur, half human, half animal. The king of the jungle, the dominant lord of the universe of beasts, being calmed by the beautiful love of this figure in the Strength card. This is the card that beats the devil in the tarot. It is able to overcome self-defeating thoughts. This is very practical advice about really rising to your highest self and coming from love and doing things right. It's very much about bringing a loving, supportive, nurturing energy forward instead of, and that's a great way to move out of nobody loves me, right? Love. Give what you want is the message. Okay, so impractical energy. What is the Pisces King of Cups message here of this Seven of Cups here? Let's clarify that. How do you get into this flow? What's the dream? That's kind of what this question is about. Wow. Let's say that you have now for the third time the same card. The Five of Inspiration in this deck is the Five of Wands. This is what this is all about. Some kind of conflict. I think it's inner conflict with you. Yeah, when I look at these two together, it's like, who should I be kind of feeling? Who am I? What position should I take with my very body, right? And then she's like, what's the emotional choice here? So let's keep looking at this. Very interesting. The World. There is some kind of ending of the Five of Wands here. So when the World follows a card, we say, okay, so this thing that you're healing is coming to an end. It's a major life cycle. It may be that when you think about how you operate, like you always operate like this. So the World. And thirdly, the Muse of Materials. This is a King of Pentacles. This is more information about abundance, security, being a leader. Here we see the woman walking towards towards a portal. So portal-wise, astrologically, Pluto moving into Aquarius, Saturn moving into Pisces. This is going into a new world. There's that sense of duality. Oh, that's probably why this deck wanted to talk to a mutable sign. Right? There's the two sides of yourself, and finding the middle way seems to be what you are guided towards. So your inner conflict ends when you find that middle path. That's what this says. You're going to know, you're going to see clearly, but it's going to take, it's a kind of a dreamy energy. It's going to happen perhaps in your dreams that you find this ability to navigate between your two impulses, between the part of you that is a beast and the part of you that is a human. You tell me which is the violent part. Usually, because traditionally you think of the lion as the source of our violence, but sometimes you might consider that the lion has a lion heart, and it's the human that is the source of the problems and the violence in the world. Whatever this is, that hybridity causes us to rise to our highest self. That's what strength is about. So here we see you finding the middle way and putting an end to this inner conflict, I think. Who am I? How do I pose here? You find a middle way out of illusion. So if you've been performing in a certain way for other people what wants to come in is you've been performing according to what you think other people care about. And if you quit doing that, if you quit being like, do they like me like this? Do they like me like this? This kind of inner conflict is very much, who am I? And she's dressed in white. It's almost like her getting in all of these different postures and positions. But there's something very blank slate about being dressed all in white. So that you have to find a way out of that. That's not authentic to you, right? You're actually appearing as all of these different illusions. And so the trick is to find the middle ground between that emperor decisiveness and that emotional beauty and maturity of the King of Cups, right? We just saw that in your practical advice of rising to your highest self, the Empress, doing it the right way, the Knight of Materials, and living according to the Strength card, which is a card of restraint. Restrain your animal, I like to say violent nature, the part of you that's not safe for others to be around. Okay, so this is definitely, I'm not safe to be around. I'm a fighter, not a lover when I'm in the Five of Wands. And somehow you're not seeing this because this is under what's hidden from you and that the tarot thinks you need to know. So let's clarify that for Sag. So there's Temperance. This is a waiting energy. This is a measuring your feelings energy. It is divinely supported. We can see on the card there is the new moon to the full moon. The new moon we just had was in Aries, and we're moving into a full moon in Libra. Oh, I see. It's not. The full moon is here. These are the... Oh, no. She's got the full moon in her hand, right? So we see the moon becoming fuller, right? So if you think about Libra, April 6th, I think, it's a moon of relationships. It's a moon really very much of justice. This is the card of Libra. So that full moon in Libra, it may be that if you think back to the new moon in Libra, which would have been in October or late September, early October, you go back and look. So that new moon would have been a time where you began a path, that you set yourself out on a path. And now that we're coming around to that moon coming to fruition, coming full, so that's a waiting spell, right? So we can see that's a 6-month wait. So in that period, you should be seeing how you are really in a conflict with yourself. Sagittarius, what else? The 10 of emotions. This is you in community, in emotional fulfillment, love, joy. It's a beautiful, magical ceremony. So 6 months ago was autumn equinox. And if you think back to what you were doing the last equinox, now we just have had the spring equinox. Yeah, it just reiterates what I just said. So this is something that has been going on. And here you are in the realm of work. So you're learning new skills in the Eight of Materials. There's so much juggling energy. There's a lot of focus, multiple arms here. Again, it's beyond the duality. But what I see here that's different from this is I see you actually finding a rhythm and finding your way to do this skillfully. So something that you were unskilled at that was causing you to feel inner conflict, we see you becoming skilled at through temperance. Like, so that here I'm going to say, consider that this has been a 6-month healing process. Like, it's absolutely not about being alone. This is about finding healing with other people. This is a hard lesson for some of us, especially if you're this Emperor heroic type, or even the King of Cups type, because the Emperor doesn't need anybody, and the King of Cups doesn't open up about his feelings, right? So if you are a mix of these two impulses to do all the work that these cards are telling you of, like, reaching out to others, to coming from your heart, finding, but it seems to be in between, a combination of you as this mix of Emperor and King of Cups, or this lion and this woman, or this horse and this human. So this is your inner conflict can be resolved by realizing that all of this makes you whole. So, like, you find balance in the season of Libra, having gone through this healing cycle. And now we want to ask, we see you very much in that balance, in that unity, in that you're not alone, you're with the people that get you. You're in your authentic self. 4 of Wands, very stable, very secure. 4 legs of a table or a chair, stable. Everything is up on the surface. So these are qualities that we see you embody in the future. So if we saw you private, like the King of Cups, here we see you open and out in the open with these people that you've come to trust, because you've resolved something about who you are and about your nature. You've come to peace. You've learned how to do it with grace. And that's beautiful. That means that you can go forth grounded and let people know you. You're not conflicted or confused in the future here. So let's see, what else? So there is some discontentment, the 8 of Emotions. It shows you seeking, perhaps on a spiritual journey. Then what happens? Ooh, some manifesting, the Magician. You realize, hey, I have all the tools I need. Very Empress energy, that kind of capacity to create the world that you want to live in, Magician. And thirdly, the Wheel. There's something that happens outside of you that turns fate, luck, fortune in your favor. So that's here. Where did I see this? Temperance. Yeah. So when we saw Temperance was here helping you over this, between the Libra new moon and the Libra full moon, we can see that reiterated again. I'm going to say, I see the moon shifting. Now, it could be that you're beginning a cycle in Aries, in which case you'll come back around to this next time we see Aries full, which will be in 6 months. So those are 2 possible ways that we can see this. The Justice is here. A card of Libra suggests to me that this is a healing that is coming to fruition right now. Yeah, you went seeking out of emotional discontent. You found your power, but you are also being aided just by everything, the machinations and the divine forces outside of you. So beautiful. Always we can feel how we're supported and guided. The tarot wants what's best for you. In my opinion, the universe wants what's best for you. I believe that the divine wants me to be happy, joyous, and free, and loves me unconditionally. And that's the kind of divine I believe you have as well, however you conceive of it. One card on the bottom is an Ace of Emotions. This is a new emotional beginning for you. So you move from feeling conflicted and embattled, trying to use your will to change that, being in the illusion, feeling left out, betrayed, impoverished, to realizing that you have this new emotional beginning. It's coming in through change of fortune. It's coming in through divine support. It's definitely not about being alone, but it could be about being there for yourself in some way. So like in my life, like I have trauma, and so I worked on my inner children, and what that has meant is that I feel like I'm there for myself. So if you're not with other people, then you're there for yourself, and you're at peace. Like you have learned how to juggle with grace all of your aspects, and instead of do violence to yourself or out there as a result of inner violence and trauma, you learn how to be peaceful, authentic, in this beautiful vision here for your future Sagittarius. It's like your horse half, your human half, your horse half, your human half, like you are united. This is about loving both sides of yourself instead of disavowing one side of yourself. It's a very beautiful healing process from being in conflict to being peace, joy, soul union. And so this is an emotional new beginning, whether it's you with you or you in love or you in a broader community. You don't have to feel alone. And certainly, as I said, there is a divine force out there who is loving you and holding you and setting an example for you to follow, which is, I love you, love yourself the way I love you. That's, if you believe that, it brings me a lot of peace. So I share it with you. That's a great message, Sagittarius. As always, I love reading your cards. Let me know. I will be putting some notes in the bottom of this reading. I'm offering 15, I have 15 left, personal readings. If you want one, I will film a video just for you. Email me at the email address I put below, and I will arrange that with you, send you more information about how to do that. I have 15 left, and you don't need to know why I need the money, but if you do want to know why, my little beautiful car got smashed by an uninsured motorist. So I'm just trying to make up some of the loss on that by selling this service on a donation basis. So I've got good feedback from the people I've sent readings to, and I would love to look at your cards on a personal level. All right, have a beautiful day.